There are a lot of engines on the island of Sodor, in all the shapes, sizes, and colors you can think of. Gordon, the big blue express engine, can pull the express. Mixed traffic engines like Edward and James can pull goods trains and passenger trains. But all tender engines must have a drawbar to connect their tenders to themselves. Tank engines like Thomas don't need tenders, since they have bunkers inside tanks to supply them with coal and water. One day, James was boasting to the others. You know, it's really tiring pulling all those express trains and goods trains at the same time, but no wonder the Fact Controller. Henry was getting really annoyed by this. After all, why wouldn't you know, James, I get the same compliments as you do, except the difference is I get to pull twice as many trains and twice as long ones than you do. And Henry ran off laughing, while James fumed in the sheds. I'll show him, he said. Early next morning, James was still fuming when he came out from the sheds. James's first job was to shop some trucks, but he bumped the trucks hard. Edward was in the yard, but he saw that James was a bit too rough with the trucks. He tried to warn him, but James was already gone by the time he finished. While shunting, James noticed a little pain at his drawbar. He didn't say anything, but all the while kept thinking about it. His tender kept clanging and banging back and forth, but James still ignored it. At last it was time to couple to the full train. Alright, you hotted lot, let's go. We're late enough already. James started with a jerk, but slowly and surely got the train moving steadily. While on the way to the next station, he kept looking back and couldn't stop thinking about it. It was still clanging and banging back and forth. But again, James didn't say anything to his driver or fireman. His loud banging could be heard from the station platforms of Elfsbridge. At Edward's station, Gordon was waiting. He did notice James's clank, but didn't say anything. At this point, James was getting sick, but he didn't give up just yet. At the bottom of Gordon's Hill, he gathered speed and gathered every ounce of steam he could get and puffed up the hill. Then, it happened. James felt a jerk. His tender and trucks suddenly started to roll down the hill. But the trucks didn't know the trouble ahead. Percy was bringing brand new red coaches from the works. Percy was enjoying himself. He had a wonderful time. Until he noticed the trucks coming towards him. Meanwhile, they had to dump James's fire and slowly back him up the hill while he had steam. And then they heard it. A loud bang came from the bottom of the hill. James hoped whoever was on the bottom of the hill is alright. When he got to the bottom of the hill, he was shocked. Trucks were laying all around, and one truck swung right into Percy. "Are you alright?" shouted James. "Yes, I'm alright, James," said Percy, and then looked at his buffers. James looked for his tender too, which sat at the back of the whole crash. They both waited and waited. Then finally, Thomas came with the breakdown train in the evening. Soon, Duck arrived to take away the unhurt trucks. While the two engines continued to look at their buffers. Thomas felt bad for both of his friends, so he pushed them back to the shed. When they arrived, Gordon, Henry, and Douglas were already there. "Well, well, well, look who it is," said Henry. James didn't answer. He just looked back. "We all make mistakes, little James," said Henry. Then Thomas pushed Percy into the shed too. "Perhaps you'll know how to treat the trucks next time, little James." James still didn't answer. "It's all right, James. No one got hurt," said Percy. James hoped he never had to pull trucks, at least for a little while.